Good evening, our viewers, and welcome to another episode of your daily show, Achievements. I'm your host, Abdulatif Lanizi, and here with me, my colleague, Fatma Al-Hajri. Good evening, Fatma.
Good evening, Abdul Latif, and good evening, dear viewers. As my colleague mentioned, this is your show, Achievements, where we talk about different topics with different guests. So please stay with us after this report.
A successful identity is built on things a person has done. Your most important accomplishments are a very important way for you to measure your success. Colleagues, competitors, and the general public can look at a person's achievements to figure out how successful they are. Most of the time, putting in a lot of work pays off. Most people think a successful life is one of a lot of things to be proud of. When you finish a task, you win over problems or other people. Achieve means to work together to reach a hard and challenging goal. Everyone should be ready to help out and work together if they need to. There are many ways to reach your goal, but in the end, it's up to you to decide how it will pay out in your life. In their careers, some people want to get rich and will be well known. Some people think that even small victories are reasons to have a party. We're all different, so we all have our own thoughts on everything. In the end, though, everyone wants to be happy, and everything you do in life will help you to get closer to that ultimate goal.
Welcome back, our dear viewers. Tonight we're having with us a special guest. He is passionate about traveling, exploring the world from a new perspective. He climbed Africa's highest peak and tried to climb Everest too. He didn't stop there and visited some volcanoes, crocodile lakes. Please welcome with us our traveler and adventure seeker, Mr. Abdullah Al-Zaidi. Hello and welcome to our studio.
Hi, hello Fatma. It's my pleasure to be here.
Thank you, Abdullah. And Abdullah, of course, we would love to know about your exploring and the adventures. But can you first tell us about the start in your early passion on the steps of your field?
It all started when I was 18. I wanted to try new things. I wanted to travel. I want to see the world. So I told my family I want to go to the United States just after I graduated from my high school. So they told me, no, what you're doing there, you don't have anything to do. You're not studying there. You're not doing anything. I told them, no, I'm going. So after they said no, I applied for the visa by myself and I saved some money. So in 6 months, I went to the United States without them knowing.
So
I told them just in the airport, I told them I'm going anyway. So I went to the United States alone for 2 months, 3 months after all my money finished. So
you had to go back to Kuwait, of course.
Yeah, exactly. So this was my first move, like seeing the world, trying a new thing, feeding my curiosity.
So what really made you take this step? Because you started in adventure seeking, you visited a lot of volcanoes, crocodile lakes, and climbed mountains. So this is very interesting. What really got you into this?
Actually, I was a normal traveler, like cities and stuff, like what normal people do in traveling. But after 2017, I tried my first hiking and camping trip. It was miserable, but I loved it anyway. After 2017, I went crazy on these kind of trips, the adventure ones, the extreme adventures.
Of course. So you mentioned it was terrible. Why was it terrible and still you gave it another shot?
I was unprepared at all. I didn't know anything about hiking, about camping, about packing even. So I took a backpack and I filled it with everything like in my closet. I didn't know that I'm gonna take my backpack all the way up to the mountain with my tent, with my food, with my sleeping bag. So everyone in the group, they had a bag like 7 kilos, 8 kilos. My bag was 21.
You packed a lot of clothes that
Exactly.
you didn't need.
I didn't know anything about clothes, food, everything, my tent, my sleeping bag, everything. Yeah, the trip was miserable. But the bag was heavy. My tent flown away from the wind. It was a low budget tent. I didn't know that I have to bring specific things for this specific
Of
trip.
course, especially like for camping, you don't really think a lot about the tent because you don't think like the wind's gonna blow it away.
Exactly.
So this is very interesting. You actually learned a lot from your first
It
time.
is the experience.
So yes, of course.
And my backpack went all wet because it didn't have a raincoat. I was supposed to bring a raincoat for it. So my clothes was wet all the trip. It was miserable, but I loved it anyway.
You didn't
It
have
was
the
fun, it was
experience.
fun.
It was fun.
Yes.
Yes, you didn't have the experience, and that's okay. So tell us more, Abdullah Daidi, about the first time when you wanted to start the adventure. I mean, you just told us that when you were 18.
Exactly.
But you just wanted to go to America, maybe just for travel and just as a tourist. You wanted to
Exactly.
go there. But the first time, Abdullah, that you wanted to go as an adventure and you wanted to do something your family, no member at your family did that ever.
This was to Everest mountain. You know, Everest is the highest peak in the world. It takes 40 days to climb it. I climbed 18 days. There is no coverage. The food is very minimal, like there is only eggs and rice. There is no options. You have to take your tent every day. You take your tent with you and you camp in the next spot and you climb for 40 days. In the 18th day, my friend was climbing with me. My friend went blind.
Went blind?
Went blind.
Completely
From not
blind.
see.
Completely blind from the lack of oxygen there. And from the altitude sickness, there is the pressure there
That's
is
very
totally
scary.
different. Exactly. So this trip was very, very dangerous to us.
So why did you do it if you know that, I mean, first, did you know that your friend was going to be blind? Did you know that
Did you know about
might
the
happen?
risks? Because I think
we,
this is a
we
very
knew about the
important
risk,
thing.
but you know,
Okay.
some people say it's not gonna happen to me. It's
Yeah,
not gonna
it's like
happen.
a one in
It's
a
like
million.
10%,
Of course.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm with the
Exactly.
90, yeah.
So we did it anyway. But in the 18th day, we had to call an emergency, and the helicopter, the chopper, couldn't come to our place, so we had to hold him, me and the Nepali guides, to hold him
closer
to
destination
to the
for the helicopter.
to the nearest camp, so we can call the helicopter, and we took him to the hospital.
Of course, I think
yeah,
that must
it was
have been a
very
very scary moment for both of you, especially like
Exactly.
I can't imagine traveling with your friend and then having this kind of crisis in the middle of climbing
gonna
a
be
mountain.
scared.
Exactly.
Of course, and it's like you don't have any connection or cellular data, so it can be very tricky sometimes even for the ambulance to contact them. But
Exactly.
I think maybe you started off first of having adventures of your own here in Kuwait before you actually went and traveled all the way to Everest. So did you have any adventures here?
Actually, after doing like a lot of adventures out of Kuwait, I wanted to do this in Kuwait. I want to people to see what I see and to experience what I'm experiencing. So I started my company 2019 for adventures outside Kuwait. But when Corona happened, so we had to transfer everything we wanted to do in Kuwait. We had to make a local tourism here in Kuwait, like camping and stuff. All the adventures that we did abroad.
We have mountains, actually.
Not mountains.
No,
we don't call
it's
them
like
not
hills,
really.
little
but
hills.
we
Not
did
really.
like abseiling, you know, with the rope.
You can do a lot of
and
different
kayaking
activities, yes,
and
of
yeah,
course, when it
this
comes
We
to
kind
can
of
build some wall and then
activities.
climb it. We can have some fun
Yeah.
here. So.
exactly.
So can you tell us about the family support, especially after when you went back from America and you said, "Hey, I'm back and I'm broke. I don't have any money." Can you tell us about that?
My mom didn't talk to me for 2 months or 3 months, I think.
Oh, that must be
time.
hard.
Yeah,
I cannot sleep if my mom was mad at me. Either of 2 months.
it was hard. It was hard. My family wasn't supporting me for the first few years in my life because, like, you know, I'm out of the pack. I'm not doing what they're doing. Doing my own thing, and extreme things, not like normal things. So, but after seeing me like doing what I love and I'm happy about it, and I'm still safe. I'm not doing like I know my limit. I know my. Now they're proud of me. Actually, they're supporting me.
That's good.
Of course, I think you achieved a lot, especially for being like the adventurous type of the family. I think you always come back with new stories,
New
exciting stories. And we still have a lot more questions for you, Abdullah. But dear viewers, we will take a short break, watch this report, and be right back.
Abdullah Thaidi started his hobby as a traveler 10 years ago. He enjoys adventure travel and mountaineering. He has climbed the highest peak in Africa, Moreover, Abdullah has also tried to climb the highest mountain, Mount Everest. However, he faced different challenges through his process. Abdullah is ambitious and eager to achieve more and more of his adventures. In 2017, Abdullah started visiting volcanoes and crocodile lakes, and he encouraged others to travel and visit these areas. He has changed the concept of traditional travel, and after he succeeded in this field, he managed to have his own tourism place. In 2019, and after the global pandemic, Abdullah began with his team, started adventuring locally. In Kuwait, he started camping around. However, he did that in the American style. In the camp, Abdullah observed the stars in large telescopes. In areas in Kuwait such as Salmi, he practiced sports and meditation. Moreover, in other places like the beach, Abdullah taught others the way of crab catching and also made historical trips to one of the most popular islands in Kuwait, Failaka. Abdullah succeeded in his hobby that he really enjoys practicing it. Until today, Abdullah has about 3,000 followers who continue to support him. After a great succeed, Abdullah devoted himself to write his own book, in which he talks about many of his experiences with travel and adventure. Hence, Abdullah also talks in his book about how has travel changed him for the better and how has the experience disciplined him.
Welcome back, our dear viewers. Of course, Abdel, after watching that amazing report about your adventurous life, so all of this experience, you mentioned that you tried to bring it back to Kuwait and create this kind of adventurous life and open your own business. So can you tell us about that? What happened with that?
It was amazing. We had, until now, in 3 years, we had 3,000 participants with us in Kuwait, all locals and foreigners. They all come in my company to experience the new stuff they didn't experience before. So we succeeded in that. We're still going.
That's interesting. So can you tell us more about the adventures that you provide for tourists, Kuwaitis, especially now we're in the summer season. I think it's very hot. Most of the activities are beach activities.
Exactly. In the summer, like we're doing minimal stuff, but mostly in the winter, we go in the desert camping. We do stargazing with the biggest telescope in Kuwait. We bring the biggest telescope to stargaze with the astronomy team to tell us about things and stuff. The kayaking trips. We had lots of activities. We had more than 40 different activities in Kuwait.
I think that's very interesting.
It is.
You have to come one day.
Hopefully we will just invite us
We'll
and
try
we'll show
it.
up.
We'll try it, especially the kayak. But I saw something in the report was really dangerous. And I asked about that and you say, yeah, it's true. I mean, at first I didn't know that it is real.
What was it?
The Crocodile Lake.
Yeah, that was in
Can
Florida.
you tell me more about this event that you went through and why?
I was road tripping in Florida, so I saw this lake, but there is a sign like it's filled with crocodiles. Don't go near this lake, and there is a store that renting kayaks, the paddle kayak, nearby, but not for this lake, for another lake nearby.
Safer lake, I think.
Safer lake, but I took the kayak anyway, and I went inside the.
Was it allowed to take the kayak in there? Because definitely it will be lunch for the crocodiles.
It wasn't allowed, and it wasn't not allowed. It was like by your own risk.
Yeah, you can do.
You can do. It's open area.
Yeah, it's
nobody's stopping you. So I did it anyway. And the American guy, he told me, whenever a crocodile comes nearby you, just hit it by the paddle. It's gonna go. It's gonna go away.
And you tried
I don't think
it?
that's
Yeah,
like a
they
normal
do
reaction
this
for
all
a
the time in
person
Florida.
to actually like
It's
hit the crocodile.
They do this all the time there. It's like
It's very scary. I think you have to be
is.
like, you have to have a really strong heart to actually do that.
exactly.
Yeah, so I saw a video once of a woman that take her slip off, the slipper, you know?
Yeah.
Her shoe, and she just pointed at the crocodile and it left. So I think that the crocodile is also smart enough
Exactly.
to know that
Because
they hate to get hit on the head.
on the head, yeah.
Well,
Actually,
no one likes
they're
it.
living with them in the Florida. I was like, shocked by this. They see them all the day, all
Yeah,
like
it's like
Like
when we
something
have
normal.
cats.
yeah, exactly,
It's like
exactly.
when we have cats in here, we see them all the day. I mean, there's some people really pet the crocodiles and have it at their homes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
it's like a normal thing. So tell us about also the highest peak in Africa.
The highest peak in Africa, I was very prepared for it. So
Yeah, not like the Everest. Like.
yeah. After
No one went to blind.
After Georgia, my first hike, and Everest, my hardest hike. So in Kilimanjaro, I was training, I was buying stuff, I was researching. I did all the homework, so it was easy breezy for me. It was for 7 days. You climb the highest peak in Africa. They call it Kilimanjaro.
Kilimanjaro.
Yeah, people go there every year.
I think they have a saying there. They always say like Hakuna Matata.
Hakuna Matata
Yeah.
there.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
they sing it all the time
Yes.
there. Like all the African team I had, they singing Hakuna Matata, cheering me up.
Yeah, usually when they climb the highest peak in Africa,
Exactly. So
it's
Kilimanjaro,
high.
They usually
How-
say it. Yeah.
How high is it?
It's
Yeah, how-
6,200 something like this.
Whoa, that's
Everest
almost like
was-
7 Burj Khalifas.
Exactly. Everest was 8,000. It's the highest peak in the world, 8,000.
Yeah,
And
2,000 is not too much. I mean, we
Ye-
can climb it like every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you go maybe as a stairs machine. Or something. So also, you had your difficulties on your way.
Mhm.
And of course, the first difficulties, we know it, which is the financial situation when you were 18.
Exactly.
After the 3rd month. So tell us about your difficulties when you were doing the traveling and as an adventure.
What do you mean exactly?
You had your difficulties. Was it maybe a financial difficulties or physical difficulties? How to adjust to the climate in these heights?
This is a good point actually. I was fat, like I was fatter than this by 30 kilos. I had my difficulties in my fitness like level, so I focused on my body to be more flexible, more يعني, so I can do this stuff like easy for me.
Of course, you have to be in shape, really
Exactly,
active,
exactly.
athletic. You have an athletic life. Actually, do more cardio. Even when it comes to breathing in mountains, the altitude can be very hard when it comes to breathing. So you have to have like a special technique. There's a lot of
Exactly.
things to consider.
Did you lose weight when you were there?
I lost weight actually.
You have to.
Because
Yeah.
you don't have like proper food. Like you have limited
Exactly.
options.
Eggs and rice.
Like eggs and
I
rice
will not
only,
eat it
yeah.
together.
And financially, the hardest part was like how to work and travel at the same time, how to get money and how to spend money, how to find this balance.
So how do you manage that? I think it must have been kind of expensive to actually be
it
like
is.
on this kind of adventurous life and still work. So how do you manage that?
It is actually, but in 2018, I think before my company, I used to take people with me. I want them to see the world. I want them to experience the new stuff like from my eyes. So I do like this group trip. People pay for it, and I take them like in my adventure. So
Oh, that's
I'm
good.
doing my adventure. I'm taking people with me, and they're paying for my trip.
So you return with
So
profit.
you're sharing,
Ex-
yes, of course, you're sharing
ex-
the experience and still enjoying it.
Doing something I love, meeting new people, affording my trips.
So Abdullah, have you ever thought about going to the Everest again?
Yeah, I always think about this.
Oh.
I always think about
Well,
this.
if
but
I
this
were
is-
you, I would not think about it.
This is not the right time. I'm having a baby in 2 months.
Oh,
yeah, I'm just
congratulations.
gonna chill and actually, I was chill during the last few months. I think I'm gonna chill few
Yeah,
months.
please tell.
Yeah.
And,
First,
and if you have a baby,
congratulations. I think
yeah.
there's a lot of things you
you.
have to
Thank
prepare
you.
for, and you have to stay with your baby. Of
Exactly.
course, it's an exciting moment.
You have to be more careful.
be,
It's
uh,
a new
parent.
chapter in my life. Yeah,
Of course.
I'm just gonna chill for 1 year. Then I'm gonna go extremer than ever.
Extremer than ever.
I think maybe like even your kid, when he grows up, you're going to teach him more about the adventurous life
Of
and take him
course,
with you.
Of course, yeah. I'm not.
So if he wanted to be as an adventurer like you, and he said, "Father, I wanted to go to the volcanoes or the crocodile lake," will you let him?
Of course.
After he's
I'm gonna be
18?
with him or her. Yeah, of course.
You're sure about that?
Yeah.
Well,
I don't want him to
dangerous.
live a normal life. I want him to experience the things I've experienced, and because I saw how that affected my personality, how to talk to people, how it changed my mentality, how يعني, a lot of things. This experience for a lifetime, they change you forever. After this kind of adventures, you're not gonna be the same.
the same person, yeah, of
same
course,
person
it's going to
before.
affect it.
Exactly.
So is it true that the Mountain Everest cost, if I wanted to climb it, does it really cost more than $80,000?
Exactly. Yeah, it costs this. but most people they get sponsored by companies, so they do it for free.
For free.
So
And
did
they
you
also
get
get money.
sponsors
Yeah,
or did you go on your own
local
expenses?
companies. It was like 50-50. Yeah, I paid some, but I didn't continue the trip, so I didn't pay this. The most amount you pay is for the last 10 days. It's the hardest 10 days. You get like each one a climbing. He have to bring 3 with him, Nepalis, and he have to pay them. And for the oxygen, for the stuff, only the last 10 days. I didn't reach that, so I didn't pay for the expenses for the last 10 days.
So even you're thinking like of going again to Mount Everest. So is it like going to be anytime soon, like a year from now?
I don't think so.
Still-
Like in 3 years, 4 years plan, I think, yeah.
Inshallah, never. Because I'm really afraid of you. I mean, you're getting baby. I mean, we don't that baby to be
because
like,
it's
without
I think
father.
it can be risky.
It's really dangerous.
If you're
Very
prepared,
a lot of people,
if
a lot
you're
of people
prepared
dying.
very well, it's easy. If you're prepared, because I see like Kuwaiti people, like every year 3 or 4 Kuwaiti they're doing this actually.
So that's good for
My
that.
friend just came like 2 weeks ago.
He went to the
climbed
top.
the
He
mountain?
climbed the mountain.
Oh,
So
that's a good
seeing
sign.
people like in your circle, they're doing this. You want
It
to
kind
do
of
it sometime.
encourages you to do so.
Exactly.
So how did Abdullah Zaidi decided to explore the whole world?
I don't know. It was curiosity from my childhood.
I mean, you
Like-
didn't want it to only to go to this challenging places. You wanted to explore every inch of the world.
Yeah, I was obsessed with movies, Hollywood movies. Like seeing lot of movies, adventure, mountains, sea and stuff, from my childhood. So I wanted to experience all this in my life. And in Kuwait we have like little stuff to do, like only the beach and stuff. There is no mountains, there is no like...
We would have crocodile lakes, volcanoes.
Exactly. So
I think thank God that we don't have crocodile lakes. I think it's like
So
safer here.
I wanted to travel from a young age. It's
Yeah.
just a mentality. I don't know what made me like...
Wow, that's a good thing.
this
Turn
way.
out for you.
Of course, we still have a lot more questions for you, Abdullah. Dear viewers, we have a report lined up next for you. Stay tuned.
The things a person has done make up his or her identity. One of the most important ways to measure your success is by looking at your most important accomplishments. Colleagues, competitors, and the general public can tell how successful a person is by looking at what they have done. Most of the time, it pays off to work hard. Most people think that having a lot to be proud is a sign of a successful life. When you finish a task, you beat problems or other people to achieve something. People have to work together to reach a difficult goal. If help is needed, everyone should be ready to pitch in and work together. There are many ways to reach a goal, but in the end, it's up to you to decide how it will affect your life. Some people want to be rich and well known on their jobs. Some people think that even small wins are good reasons to throw a party. We are all different, so we all think differently about everything. In the end, though, everyone wants to be happy, and everything you do in life will help you to get closer to that goal.
Welcome back, our viewers, as we continue our interview with our guest. So, Abdullah, we would love to know about one thing, which is, did you achieve your goal or yet?
The goal is an illusion. I don't know if there is a goal actually. It's just a lifestyle.
And maybe do you have some place that you wanted to go to and you are preparing for it?
No, actually. Most of the places like I wanted to go so badly, I did them in the first few years in my path. So now it's a lifestyle more than like a goal I want to achieve or like a place I want to go to or something.
Of course,
It's just a lifestyle.
you're just taking life as an adventure.
Exactly.
You also wrote a book during Corona.
Yeah.
So can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so in Corona, like I couldn't travel, so
No one could.
yeah, and I was like depressed As hell.
I think everyone was, because it was very hard just staying in home and not doing anything, especially for someone who's very active.
Exactly, exactly. So after a few weeks in COVID, I told myself, let me invest in this time. I don't know how long this is gonna happen, so I'm gonna write a book about all the adventures I did in the last 10 years. I started from a young age. I wrote my book in 29 years old. So I named the book وجدت الراحة خارج منطقة الراحة. I found the comfort out of the comfort zone. And I wrote in the book all the adventures I had, all the adventures, the extreme adventures I had, and how that affected my personality, how that impacted my impact on my
Your life, of course.
my life. Yeah,
You found the comfort out of the comfort zone.
yeah. You know the
But-
comfort zone.
Yeah, of course.
Like the
Everyone,
work
Everyone
life,
lives in
Everyone
the
has
comfort
it.
zone. They don't want to go out of the
just-
comfort zone.
Yeah.
I want
Yeah.
my life. I want my routine. I want my stuff.
because sometimes
it's
they
nice
are
to have
scared.
routine, but it can be like sometimes boring. Like you stick with the routine, so you have to really go out of the box sometimes.
Exactly,
Try something
exactly.
new.
So I
Well-
told them in my book how to find comfort out of the comfort zone.
And was it by your adventures?
Yeah, by my adventures. It's like stories, and each story there is like how that affected me as Abdullah and how it's gonna affect you as a traveler or
Because your adventures are more like an adrenaline rush.
exactly.
It's challenging, it's hard. Were you comfortable doing it?
That's why they call it out of the comfort zone. It's not a comfort to do this, but the after effect of this, it's amazing.
The experience after
The experience
the journey.
after
Satisfying.
the effect, satisfying. Like you're learning a new stuff. How your personality changes after every trip you do. But at the specific time, no, it's not comfortable at all. It's
Yeah,
not.
of course.
Yeah.
Especially when you have crocodiles closing to you. Well,
I saw them like
I'm
everywhere.
stuck at that moment when you told me when I saw the report, the first one, when we saw that you were inside the crocodile lake. I mean, everything there was at the color yellow. I mean, it's really scary.
It can
Yeah.
be sometimes even hard to actually see the crocodiles in the lake.
Yeah.
Of
Yeah,
course.
yeah.
So what's your next step? Are you gonna write another book? What is your next adventure?
I don't know. I told you, like, I'm newly married. I'm having a baby, so I'm chilling now, and see what life's gonna take me. I'm not planning anything, but for sure, I'm gonna do a lot of new adventures.
So your life is closer to be like a wind ship.
Yeah, I'm always
Wherever
with
the
flow.
winds take you,
I'm always
you
with
go.
the flow. Yeah, I
But-
didn't plan anything for my life. Everything with the flow. I believe in the flow.
So what if you wanted to go to travel as in a country and it's really expensive and there are no sponsors? Will you ever thinking about maybe loaning some money from your family?
No, I never did that.
Well, of course, they are against that.
I never did that.
They are still against it?
No, but
not the money thing, the adventure thing.
No, they're not. Yeah, they know I'm gonna be safe. They know that I know my limits.
And how did they react when you come back, when you have your blind friend with you because of the trip on Everest?
They were scared like hell. They were scared so much.
Well, if my brothers did that
Yeah.
and came back with his friend as blind, really, I'm gonna take his passport and hide it. I'm not gonna let him travel because it's my brother also. I mean, it's really scary. So also,
But they know they can't stop me.
yeah,
They couldn't stop me at the 18th.
no one
They're
can.
not gonna stop me by 30.
So, are you planning in the future also to go with a group of friends to go to another country and not do it alone, of course? Are you planning to go with a group of family or friends to travel and to go to another country as an adventurers?
As an adventure, I do this all the time. I don't know what you mean exactly, but
So what was your best experience throughout these journeys?
I don't have like a specific best.
There has to be like a specific moment. You have a lot of adventures, so there must be one memory that is most precious to you.
I think each adventure I did, like it has some little stuff, that impacted me somehow. Sometimes even like a small trip like Jordan. I went to Jordan for 2 days, but the people I met, the how I felt, how I talked, how the mentalities, it impacted me so much.
So in
course.
the near future,
sometimes little stuff they do all the effect.
Yeah.
That's true. I think sometimes even like exchanging the culture with different people, meeting new people,
Exactly.
and learning more about their lives, how they have their daily routine, this kind of stuff, living their lives, you know, not just like visiting as a tourist, but actually living the life of that kind of person
more
in
exciting.
different countries.
Yeah.
Of course,
is,
it can
it
be
is.
very hard sometimes, but it's still amazing.
Actually, I found the most exciting part about traveling, not the places I went to, not like the countries. It was the people. The people I've met on my way. They did all the effect on my personality. The people, like meeting new people, different personalities, different mentalities, different cultures. This is amazing.
It is, and congratulations for that. But Abdullah, after this lovely information that you gave us, I'm really excited for you, and congratulations on the baby behead of that.
Thank you.
But do you have one last thing to say before we end? One last thing to the people who are watching you right now?
I don't have anything in mind. Thank you, Abdul Latif. Thank you, Fatma, so much for this.
Thank you for being here. Really had so much fun. We learned a lot about your experience. We got to know you, Abdullah. It was really a pleasure to have you here with us.
Thank you.
And with that, our dear viewers, we reached our time. Hope you enjoyed this episode. And as always, it's really an honor and my pleasure to be your co-host, Fatma.
Thank you, Abdul Latif. Mine as well. And see you again in another episode. Goodbye for now.
Goodbye.